Hey, welcome back to the program. I want my presidents to succeed. As you know from listening to me and reading my About page, I am on the right side of the political spectrum. I'm a registered independent, though clearly a conservative, typically vote Republican. But I want my presidents to succeed. I want my members of Congress to succeed. I want them to help America become better, stronger, more prosperous, safer, better for everybody. But I just don't see that happening. Democrats led by President Biden continue to make policy decisions that aren't helping inflation, that aren't helping to reduce debt, that aren't helping to bring us together, that are not fair. And so there's a few examples we can identify. We can start with California and Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom and the California legislative body have agreed illegal immigrants in California will gain access to free health care starting Monday. Projected cost $3.1 billion, so add much more to it than that. It'll be way over that. And it puts the Democrats closer to their goal of providing universal health care to the 39 million residents, apparently regardless of their citizens or not. All low-income adults, regardless of their immigration status, receive health care through Medicaid, an already overburdened program. In California, they call it Medi-Cal. This is, first of all, too expensive. California is deeply in debt. It's blatantly unfair for those Americans who struggle without health care today. And it's highly inflationary. It's going to overcrowd the healthcare system, and it's going to diminish the quality of care, access to care. Next up, we have the Biden administration refusing to comply with the Supreme Court's decision that they cannot forgive loans. President Biden is going to push another round of loan forgiveness. Remember now, he made this as a campaign promise in 2020, going to enact another round of loan forgiveness for student loans aimed at borrowers who have consistently made loan payments and currently have balances below $12,000. Education Department Secretary Miguel Cardona said the department would fast track a wave of debt relief. This is part of their plan they came up with after the Supreme Court ruling said that President Biden could not forgive loans called Saving on a Valuable Education, SAVE, a generous loan repayment plan targeted at lower income borrowers. It's an income-driven payment plan introduced in August of 2022. Can forgive up to $20,000 in federal student loans per borrower. Borrowers only have to pay 10% of their discretionary income, now defined as income above 225% of the federal poverty line, for 10 years if their balance is less than $12,000. Many will end up paying back only a fraction of what they borrowed, and it's expected to cost taxpayers $475 billion, so again, way more than that. The waves of forgiveness are set to begin next month. It's not clear how this will be done or how much actual debt relief will cost. We have an estimate, as I just indicated. You have 7 million Americans enrolled in the SAVE program already. Biden's education secretary said, our ability to deliver this relief to borrowers months ahead of schedule is a testament to the Biden administration's commitment to delivering relief to as many borrowers as possible as quickly as possible. President Biden's SAVE plan is not only benefiting millions of current borrowers, but also providing the students of today and tomorrow with a more affordable pathway to college degrees and credentials. That's just not true. This is inducing moral hazard. This will push costs up, not push costs down. When will the next round of relief be? The students that are taking out loans for this coming September, when will their debt be relieved? How about the American citizens who chose not to go to college because they couldn't afford it or didn't want to go into debt to do so? How about fairness for them? Why am I paying the tuition for people who voluntarily took out loans to go to school? Really off base, again, blatantly unfair, highly inflationary, and we don't have the money. We're running $2 trillion a year deficits at the federal level, and we're in $34 trillion worth of debt. Bad policy. Next, another new one comes from New York City. New York City and a nonprofit team up to wipe $2 billion in medical debt from 500,000 New Yorkers in life-changing move. New York City's officials and a nonprofit debt relief program is meant to help city residents who have medical debt that is 5% or more of their annual household income, as well as those with an annual household income that is 400% lower of the federal poverty line. City will invest $18 million in the next 3 years while working with a New York-based nonprofit RIP medical debt to wipe clean the slate of hundreds of thousands of locals selected for the one-time program. Mayor Adams said the $2 billion program be the largest municipal initiative of its kind in the country. Getting health care shouldn't be a burden that weighs on New Yorkers and their families. Since day one, our administration has been driven by the clear mission of supporting working class New Yorkers, and today's investments will provide $2 billion in medical relief as another major step in delivering that vision. Just horrible, horrible, so unfair. Another move towards universal health care, just like I talked about with Gavin Newsom. The city's broke. The city's in serious trouble. They have $1 billion bill for the illegal immigrants that have been sent to the city as a result of President Biden's open borders. We run massive debt, massive deficits. The city's a mess. The MTA is a mess. Penn Station's a mess. All kinds of financial and economic problems in New York City. The city cannot afford this. It's unfair to those who pay their bills. It's going to create more moral hazard for people who are getting health care and medical care now, who will assume they don't have to pay it in the future. It's a payoff to the medical industry. Highly inflationary, and it's not going to help the economy grow. So again, I want my governors, I want my mayors, I want my presidents to succeed, but this is not good public policy. It's blatantly unfair. It's unaffordable. It's filled with moral hazard, all these things. And the taxpayer should not be on the hook for this. I would love to get free healthcare, free health insurance. That's not how economies work. When we break contracts like we're doing with the student loan program, with this medical bill situation, we are eating away at the foundations of free market capitalism that has created the wealth we enjoy today across America. And that, for that matter, in the world, for China, for South Korea, for Japan. And this sullies that. Contract law, contracts enforced by governments is what capitalism is about. Now, again, the medical community will not care. They're going to get paid. More moral hazard, more income increases for the healthcare industry. Really bad policy. 3 quick examples for you. We have to reverse this type of stuff. I could not be more sympathetic to the student loan holder, to the person with big medical bills. It's a challenge, but this is not how our country operates. We are a free market, free enterprise, capitalist economy based on a republic. These are not the way laws are made. So a bit frustrating from a conservative perspective. Let's check in on the early days of the 2024 presidential campaign. President Biden is a presumptive nominee. He's not going anywhere. There's a new book out by Charlie Spearing called Amateur Hour, Kamala Harris in the White House, that suggests the reasons why President Biden is running again this year. He's not made way for any other candidate. It's too late now. Ballots are closed, most states. So he's going to be the candidate, and he's not campaigning. It appears like they're going to use a strategy they used in 2020. Remember, in 2020, he ran his campaign out of his basement in his house in Delaware. Very few public appearances. And it seems to be having a similar thing here now. Since January 1st, President Biden has spoken in public 5 times in 22 days. 5 events in 22 days. January 5th, he spoke at a campaign event in Pennsylvania. January 8th in South Carolina. January 12th, back to Pennsylvania. The 15th, back in Pennsylvania, volunteering for a food drive for Martin Luther King Day, didn't speak. And the 18th in North Carolina. He has taken every weekend off, has had no rallies, no big events. He's not been seen in public very often, hasn't taken questions from the media. And so it looks like he's going to try and hide in the White House and do as few events as possible for a victory in 2024. It worked for him in 2020. Maybe it'll work again. But my goodness gracious, go look at his calendar. Just look up Joe Biden's presidential public schedule. It's remarkable. The guy starts his day at 9 a.m., ends the day at 3:15, 4 p.m. This is not a 24-hour presidency, that's for sure. Doesn't work on weekends. Now, look, we know he's challenged health-wise, dementia-wise. Maybe he's not up to the task. And that seems likely. And then lastly, we'll check in on New Hampshire. Ron DeSantis has dropped out of the race. To all my listeners, you should know that on July 26, 2023, I put up a podcast. Check out my video channel. Go to my podcast from July 26th. The video is 12 minutes and 3 seconds long. It says DeSantis in the description. And in that video, I tell Ron that he should not be running, that he doesn't have the personality, he doesn't have the seriousness, he doesn't have the gravitas, that he should stay in Florida where he's doing a wonderful job as governor and think about running in 2028, that Donald Trump was in his way and was not going to get out of his way. And it turns out I was right. Sure enough, Ron DeSantis has suspended his campaign and endorsed Donald Trump. Heading back to Florida, will no longer run for president in 2024. Opens a pathway for Trump and Haley. But unfortunately, things worsened for Nikki Haley overnight as a result of Ron DeSantis bailing out of the race. Donald Trump over the weekend in a Boston Globe Suffolk poll was 55% against Haley's 36%. Today, a new poll has Trump at 64% with Haley at 35%. Clearly, DeSantis voters are going to Trump, not to Haley. So if polls are correct, you can expect a big win for President Trump tomorrow, Tuesday, in New Hampshire. Haley will stay in the race at least through South Carolina, but the polls there have Trump with a wide lead as well. Democrats in New Hampshire are switching their registrations to independent, so tomorrow they can vote in the Republican primary in an effort to give votes to Nikki Haley and stop Donald Trump in New Hampshire. If Nikki Haley were to come close or win in New Hampshire, that would really energize her campaign and make things more difficult for President Donald Trump to get the nomination wrapped up quickly. Everyone else has gotten out of the way. It's just Trump and Haley. Looks like Trump will win again tomorrow. Again, Haley will stay in through South Carolina. And after South Carolina, without a win in South Carolina, it's likely Nikki Haley will drop out of the race. And then Donald Trump can campaign against Joe Biden alone. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I would have preferred voting for Ron DeSantis. I live in Connecticut, so our primary is some months away. I don't have a chance for that. But if it's Trump-Biden, I will take Trump over Biden. Many Republicans will feel the same way. And of course, my Democrat friends will always take Biden over Trump. All right, that's all I have for you today. Always try to buy American.